Welcome to Blink and Think World. Today's challenge, guess the animal, 120 riddle showdown. Think it's easy? Let's find out. Listen. Guess. Pause if needed, track your score and drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more magical mind games. Let's begin. Level 1, Easy Mode, warm up your brain. The animals here are simple. Or are they? Let's go. I'm small, I squeak, and I love cheese. Who am I? Answer, mouse. Fun fact, mice don't actually prefer cheese, they like grains and fruits more. I bark and wag my tail when I'm happy. What animal am I? Answer, dog. Fun fact, dogs have about 18 muscles just to control their ears. I'm known for my mane and a loud roar. Answer, lion. Fun fact, a lion's roar can be heard from up to 5 miles away. I'm tiny but can lift objects many times my weight. Who am I? Answer, ant. Fun fact, an ant can lift up to 50 times its own body weight. That's like you lifting a car. I have black and white stripes. What am I? Answer, zebra. Fun fact, no two zebras have the same pattern of stripes, just like human fingerprints. I live underwater and have colorful fins. Answer, fish. Fun fact, some fish can change colors depending on their mood. I slither without legs and hiss. What creature am I? Answer, snake. Fun fact, snakes smell the air with their tongues. I have big ears and love peanuts. Who could I be? Answer, elephant. Fun fact, elephants are the only animals that can't jump. I crow when the sun rises. Who am I? Answer, rooster. Fun fact, a rooster's crow can reach up to 140 decibels, that's louder than a chainsaw. I'm white, fluffy, and say ba. Which animal am I? Answer, sheep. Fun fact, sheep have excellent memories, they can recognize up to 50 other sheep faces. I'm a buzzing insect that makes honey. Name me. Answer, bee. Fun fact, bees communicate through a special dance called the waggle dance. I can swim and quack loudly. Who am I? Answer, duck. Fun fact, not all duck quacks echo, but when they do, it's very faint. I'm pink and love muddy puddles. Who am I? Answer, pig. Fun fact, pigs roll in mud to stay cool because they can't sweat. I climb trees and love bananas. Guess who? Answer, monkey. Fun fact, some monkeys wash their food before eating. Pretty smart, right? I gallop fast and love carrots. Who am I? Answer, horse. Fun fact, horses can sleep standing up thanks to a special locking system in their legs. I have a shell and move very slowly. What am I? Answer, snail. Fun fact, the slime trail snails leave behind actually helps them move. I'm a small hopping creature with long legs. Who could I be? Answer, frog. Fun fact, some frogs can jump more than 20 times their body length. I have fluffy fur and love to cuddle. Name me. Answer: cat. Fun fact: cats have a unique meow just for communicating with humans. I live in the ocean and have a big fin. What am I? Answer: dolphin. Fun fact: dolphins can call each other by name with unique whistles. I am black and white and live in cold places. Guess who? Answer: penguin. Fun fact: penguins can swim at speeds of up to 22 miles per hour. I scurry sideways on the beach. Who am I? Answer: crab. Fun fact: some crabs can live both on land and underwater. I'm slow on land but fast in water. Guess what I am? Answer: turtle. Fun fact: sea turtles can migrate thousands of miles between feeding and nesting sites. I can carry heavy loads on my back in the desert. Who am I? Answer: camel. Fun fact: a camel's humps store fat, not water. I have a mane like a lion, but I bray. Guess who? Answer: donkey. Fun fact: donkeys have an amazing memory, they can remember places and other donkeys for years. I live in trees and have colorful feathers. Who am I? Answer: parrot. Fun fact: the African gray parrot is one of the smartest talking birds in the world. I have big round eyes and hoot at night. Name me. Answer: owl. Fun fact: owls are silent flyers thanks to their special wing feathers. I swing from vines in the jungle. Who am I? Answer: chimpanzee. Fun fact: chimpanzees are our closest living relatives, sharing about 98% of our DNA. I spin webs to catch bugs. What creature am I? Answer: spider. Fun fact: spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel of the same diameter. I'm a farm bird that lays eggs. Who am I? Answer: hen. Fun fact: a single hen can lay more than 300 eggs in 1 year. I have a hard shell and pinch with claws. Answer: lobster. Fun fact: lobsters taste with their legs and chew with their stomachs. Great job! You've reached the medium challenge. Things are getting a bit trickier now. Listen close, guess smart, keep that score. Enjoying the ride? Like and subscribe to Blink and Think World for more. Let's dive in. I have webbed feet, a long neck, and I honk loudly. Who am I? Answer: goose. Fun fact: geese migrate thousands of miles every year in a perfect V formation to save energy. I can change my color to blend in with my surroundings. Which animal am I? Answer: chameleon. Fun fact: chameleons don't just change color for camouflage, they also do it to show mood and temperature. I'm a tiny primate with giant eyes, active only at night. Guess who? Answer: tarsier. Fun fact: tarsiers' eyes are so big, each one is heavier than their brain. I drum on trees with my beak. Who am I? Answer: woodpecker. Fun fact: woodpeckers have shock-absorbing skulls that protect their brains from all that pecking. I glide through the water with my flippers and bark. Who could it be? Answer: seal. Fun fact: seals can sleep underwater by holding their breath for over 30 minutes. I'm small, furry, and love to dig tunnels underground. Who am I? Answer: mole. Fun fact: moles can dig up to 18 feet of tunnel in just 1 hour. I'm a bear that loves eating bamboo. Guess what I am? Answer: panda. Fun fact: even though they eat bamboo, pandas are actually classified as carnivores. I have a long neck and spots all over. Which animal am I? Answer: giraffe. Fun fact: giraffes only need 5 to 30 minutes of sleep a day. I hiss and strike with a rattle on my tail. Who am I? Answer: rattlesnake. Fun fact: a rattlesnake's rattle is made from segments of keratin, the same stuff as your fingernails. I have sharp spines and curl into a ball. Guess me. Answer: hedgehog. Fun fact: hedgehogs have about 5,000 to 7,000 spines on their backs. I'm known for my big pouch and hopping legs. Who am I? Answer: kangaroo. Fun fact: kangaroos can't walk backwards. I live in swamps and bask in sun. My toothy grin makes people run. Answer: alligator. Fun fact: alligators can live up to 35 to 50 years in the wild, and longer in captivity. I have black rings around my eyes like a mask. Guess who? Answer: raccoon. Fun fact: raccoons are amazing problem solvers. They can open complex locks. I have tiny wings but can hover like a helicopter. Who am I? Answer: hummingbird. Fun fact: a hummingbird's wings beat about 70 times per second. I have a big, powerful beak and colorful feathers. Which bird am I? Answer: macaw. Fun fact: macaws can live up to 60 years or longer. I'm the king of the Arctic and a strong swimmer. Who could I be? Answer: polar bear. Fun fact: a polar bear's fur is transparent, not white. I fly at night and use sound to see. What am I? Answer: bat. Fun fact: bats use echolocation, bouncing sounds off objects to navigate in the dark. I have long ears and powerful legs for hopping. Who am I? Answer: hare. Fun fact: hares can run up to 45 miles per hour, faster than many cars in city traffic. My body lights up in the night sky. Guess who? Answer: firefly. Fun fact: fireflies produce light through a chemical reaction called bioluminescence. I have no mouth or stomach, but I eat with my arms. I can grow back if I lose a part. Answer: starfish. Sea star. Fun fact: some starfish can regrow an entire body from just one arm. I leap high, my legs are powerful, and I chirp. Name me. Answer: grasshopper. Fun fact: a grasshopper can jump 20 times its body length in a single leap. I build my home out of mud and twigs near rivers, and I slap my tail to warn of danger. Who am I? Answer: beaver. Fun fact: beaver dams can be so big they can even be seen from space. I swim fast and have sharp teeth, feared by many. Guess the animal. Answer: shark. Fun fact: sharks have been around longer than dinosaurs, over 400 million years. I jump from tree to tree with a bushy tail. Who am I? Answer: squirrel. Fun fact: squirrels plant thousands of new trees each year simply by forgetting where they hid their nuts. My nose is long and I love ants. What animal am I? Answer: anteater. Fun fact, an anteater's tongue can flick in and out up to 160 times per minute. I can live both on land and in water, and I croak. Guess who? Answer, toad. Fun fact, unlike frogs, toads usually have dry, warty skin. I'm a bird that can't fly but can run very fast. Who am I? Answer, ostrich. Fun fact, ostriches can sprint up to 43 miles per hour, the fastest running bird. I have 8 legs and a brain in each one. Which creature am I? Answer, octopus. Fun fact, each octopus arm has its own mini-brain, helping it move independently. I'm tiny, jump very far, and sing at night. Guess me. Answer, cricket. Fun fact, you can tell the temperature by counting how many times a cricket chirps. My roar can be heard miles away, but I'm striped. Who am I? Answer, tiger. Fun fact, each tiger stripe pattern is unique, like a human fingerprint. You're doing awesome, now it's time for the hard level. These riddles will make you think twice. Take your time, write that score down, comment below, how far did you get, and of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ready? Let's do it. I'm a fish with a flat head and legs like arms. I walk more than I swim. Answer, axolotl. Fun fact, I stay in my baby form forever, and I can regrow my heart, brain, and spine. I have armor-like plates and roll into a ball for defense. Answer, armadillo. Fun fact, the 3-banded armadillo is the only species that can roll up completely. I squeak, I store, I dash and dive. In rocky homes, I thrive and thrive. What am I? Answer, pika. Fun fact, pikas dry grass in the sun to make winter hay piles, tiny alpine farmers. My black and white fur warns enemies to stay away. Answer, skunk. Fun fact, skunks can spray their foul scent up to 10 feet away. I am spiky and live in the ocean, definitely not for touching. Answer, sea urchin. Fun fact, sea urchins have no eyes, but they can still detect light. I have sharp tusks and love muddy waterholes. Answer, wild boar. Fun fact, boars are great swimmers and can even cross rivers. I'm a ghostly fish with a transparent head. Answer, barrel-eye fish. Fun fact, its eyes are inside its clear head and can rotate upward. Fluffy and calm on mountains high. I hum and spit when you walk by. Answer, alpaca. Fun fact, alpacas communicate by humming and have super soft fleece that's warmer than wool. I have a long neck and make a deep humming sound underwater. Answer, manatee. Fun fact, manatees are known as sea cows and eat over 100 pounds of plants a day. My nose is long, and I dig with my strong claws. Answer, aardvark. Fun fact, aardvarks can dig a hole faster than a group of humans with shovels. I am the fastest bird alive, diving at over 200 miles per hour. Answer, peregrine falcon. Fun fact, it's the fastest animal on Earth, even faster than a Formula One car. I'm not a plant, but I photosynthesize. I stole this power from what I eat. Answer, Alicia, leaf sheep sea slug. Fun fact, this sea slug eats algae and uses their chloroplasts to make energy from sunlight, just like a plant. I am the slowest mammal on Earth, hanging upside down. Answer, Sloth. Fun fact, sloths only poop once a week, and it's a dangerous trip to the ground. I'm a marsupial found only in Australia, and I love eucalyptus leaves. Answer: koala. Fun fact, koalas sleep 18 to 22 hours a day, eucalyptus makes them super drowsy. I punch with force that breaks a shell. And see more colors than you can tell. Answer: mantis shrimp. Fun fact, mantis shrimp can strike with the speed of a bullet, and they have 16 types of color receptors. I survive freezing temperatures thanks to my thick fur and fat. Answer: Arctic fox. Fun fact, their fur turns white in winter and brown in summer for perfect camouflage. I slither and squeeze my prey instead of biting. Answer: python. Fun fact, some pythons can swallow animals as big as deer. I have a large colorful fan-like tail I use for display. Answer: peacock. Fun fact, only the males have the bright tails, it's how they attract mates. I have incredible camouflage and look like a pile of leaves. Answer: leaf-tailed gecko. Fun fact, their tails mimic dead leaves perfectly, even with fake bite marks. I am the world's largest rodent, living in South America. Answer: capybara. Fun fact, capybaras are super chill, they even hang out with crocodiles and monkeys. I whistle to warn my family of danger in the Rocky Mountains. Answer: marmot. Fun fact, marmots hibernate up to 8 months, true sleeping champs. I'm not a plant, but green the first day, I never blink or run away. What am I? Answer: leaf insect. Fun fact, leaf insects are masters of disguise, they look so much like leaves that even predators walk right past them. I look like a mini armadillo but have a flexible shell and love ants. Answer: pink fairy armadillo. Fun fact, it's the smallest armadillo species and can swim through sand. I'm pink, I balance on one leg, and I wade through salty lakes. Answer: flamingo. Fun fact, their pink color comes from the shrimp and algae they eat. I have a transparent body and drift through the open ocean. Answer: glass octopus. Fun fact, this rare deep-sea creature is nearly invisible to predators. I'm the only bird with nostrils at the tip of my beak, diving deep into the ocean. Answer: albatross. Fun fact, they can fly thousands of miles without flapping their wings. My body is flat like a pancake, and I hide under the sand. Answer: stargazer. Fun fact, they can deliver electric shocks and have upward-facing eyes to ambush prey. I have venomous spurs and lay eggs, even though I'm a mammal. Answer: platypus. Fun fact, the platypus is one of the only mammals that lays eggs, and males have venomous spurs on their hind legs. I'm a fish that can inflate itself into a ball. Answer: pufferfish. Fun fact, their bodies contain a deadly toxin, more poisonous than cyanide. I am the slowest fish, spending most of my time floating upright. Answer: seahorse. Fun fact, male seahorses get pregnant and give birth. You did it! You just tackled the hard level of animal riddles. How many did you guess right? Drop your score in the comments and tell us which riddle blew your mind. Now it's time to face the expert level, only the sharpest minds can crack these rare and wild riddles. Get ready to pause and guess, these are the real brain ticklers. Hit that subscribe button now if you haven't already, the ultimate challenge starts right here. I use my long finger to tap on trees for insects. That's the ii, a lemur with a creepy cool tapping technique, native to Madagascar. Fun fact, people once thought I brought bad luck, now I just bring fascination. I can regenerate my limbs and have a flower-like appearance underwater. Who am I? A sea anemone, beautiful, squishy, and secretly deadly to small fish. Fun fact, clownfish live among my stinging tentacles without getting hurt. My body is mostly bone, and I'm the largest bony fish in the world. It's the ocean sunfish, or mola mola, oddly shaped and ocean huge. Fun fact, I can weigh over 2,000 kilograms, heavier than a car. I'm a blind salamander living in caves underwater. It's the mysterious Olm, a real-life cave dragon with no eyes. Fun fact, I can go without food for up to 10 years. My fur changes color with the seasons, and I leap across snowy fields. The Arctic hare, nature's snow ninja. Fun fact, I can sprint as fast as 60 kilometers per hour, faster than most humans. I am a rare animal with long, straight horns and live deep in the forests of Laos and Vietnam, one of the rarest mammals on Earth. It's the Saola. Fun fact, I'm so elusive that scientists call me the Asian unicorn. I'm a lizard that can run on water. That's the basilisk lizard. Fun fact, that's why I'm nicknamed the Jesus lizard. I look like a floating leaf, but I'm actually a master predator. Who could this be? The leafy sea dragon, stealthy, stunning, and all about disguise. Fun fact, despite their looks, they are related to seahorses. I'm a small fox with huge ears to hear underground prey. Any guesses? The adorable fennec fox. Fun fact, my ears also help me stay cool in the desert heat. I mimic toxic animals, but I'm harmless myself, a clever pretender. The milk snake, a look-alike with no bite. Fun fact, I'm often mistaken for the deadly coral snake. I roll into a tight ball, covered in armor, but I'm not an armadillo. That's the pangolin. Fun fact, I'm the world's most trafficked mammal, and I need your help. I am known for my psychedelic, colorful appearance in the ocean, so vibrant. The nudibranch, like a slug, but way more fabulous. Fun fact, I'm not a true jellyfish, I'm a colony of tiny creatures. Tiny feet, a snout so long, I'm fast and small but named all wrong. What am I? Answer, elephant shrew. Fun fact, they're not true shrews, and they're closer cousins to elephants than mice. I have dazzling blue feathers, but am often mistaken for a butterfly when flying. The blue jay, fast, flashy, and full of personality. Fun fact, I wave my big claw like a dance move to impress the ladies. I look like a bird, but am a mammal that glides between trees. What could it be? It's a sugar glider, the cutest night glider in the animal kingdom. Fun fact, I can glide up to 150 feet through the air. I'm tiny, almost clear, and my heart's in my head. I jet through the water like a rocket. Answer, glass squid. Fun fact, my see-through body helps me hide in the deep ocean, and yes, my heart is near my brain. I'm a bird that sounds like laughter echoing through the forest. Can you guess it? That's the kookaburra, nature's comedian from down under. Fun fact, my laugh-like call marks my territory and scares off intruders. I'm a giant flightless bird from Australia with dagger-like claws. Run if you see one. The cassowary, part bird, part dinosaur, all danger. Fun fact, I'm considered the world's most dangerous bird. I'm a living fossil, a horseshoe-shaped creature older than the dinosaurs. Guess this ancient wonder. The horseshoe crab, unchanged for over 400 million years. Fun fact, My blue blood is used to test medicines for safety. I'm a small deer with fangs instead of antlers, roaming Asian forests. Who knew deer had fangs? The mysterious water deer. Fun fact, I'm often called the vampire deer, but I don't bite. I'm the only fish known to climb waterfalls using my mouth and suction. Wild guess. It's the goby fish, the mountaineer of the sea. Fun fact, I scale rocks like a superhero in fish form. I'm a shy forest creature known as the forest giraffe, but I'm more related to zebras. Who is it really? That's the okapi, a rare beauty of the African rainforest. Fun fact, my tongue is long enough to lick its own ears. I'm red and fluffy, love bamboo, but I'm not the bear you think you knew. What am I? Answer, red panda. Fun fact, red pandas use their big tails like blankets and have a false thumb for gripping. I walk on red feet and carry my dome. Fruit is my treat wherever I roam. Answer, red-footed tortoise. Fun fact, red-footed tortoises love colorful fruits, especially red ones like strawberries. I have a nose shaped like a tube, which helps me find food underground. What could it be? The star-nosed mole, with the widest nose in nature. Fun fact, I'm the fastest eating mammal, finding and swallowing food in milliseconds. I have no bones, but I wear armor. I shoot water to knock bugs down. Answer, archerfish. Fun fact, I can shoot jets of water with pinpoint aim to hit insects above the water. Horns twist high, I roam the sand, no water needed to make my stand. What am I? Answer, addax. Fun fact, addaxes survive in the desert with barely any water, just plant juice. I'm an insect that can roll itself into a perfect ball for protection. A tiny transformer. That's the pill bug, also called a roly-poly. Fun fact, I'm not actually an insect, I'm a crustacean like a crab. I look like a spiny pancake underwater but deliver powerful electric shocks, dangerous but flat. The electric ray. Fun fact, I can generate up to 220 volts, enough to stun prey instantly. I'm an amphibian so toxic that native tribes used me for blowgun darts. Careful with this one. The golden poison frog, bright and deadly. Fun fact, just one frog can carry enough poison to kill 10 humans. You've guessed your way through jungles, deserts, oceans, and caves. Give yourself a high five, you've reached the end of the Animal Riddle Gauntlet. Congratulations, you are now officially a certified Animal Riddle Master. Did you guess them all? Comment your final score and challenge your friends to beat it. Like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you never miss our next wild adventure. Until next time, stay curious, stay clever, and keep exploring.